All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We are officially live on a Saturday. I think last week when we did this on Friday at like 7 p.m. Pushed it back an hour to help offset some of the other coast people, so, West Coast. But we do have one person in here. Let's see. All right. Sorry, I'm going through the menu on here trying to. Oh, there's different filters you can put on it. Oh, now we're black and white. All right. So I tried to move you guys out of the way of the light. The LEDs, unfortunately, are killing it with this light. So if we go too far that way, too far that way. Well, I guess that's not all that great. Hey, Perman. Sorry, I'm butchering your screen name. Permandarius. But all right, guys. Like I was saying earlier, we did a Q&A last week, and it was only a few people, but hey, we shared some good information. I decided to do this again. Yeah, see, this light right here is just killing it. Sorry, guys. All right, I think this will be. Thank you, Angelo. I think this will be a little bit better. Yeah, it's just the shop LEDs. They're real bright, and I'm not using my GoPro. The GoPro kind of filters out some of that, and we're on my cell phone, so that's why I think the light's just a little bit more brighter. So, but anyway, like we were saying, we had a really good Q&A last week, just going over some updates on the cars and stuff. I don't have much of an update for the cars. The only real big update is you guys will see we've got a white car over here. We're back working on the SS, and we've got a running issue. Something is not causing that car to run well. It's idling really bad. It's not throwing any check engine lights, so it's real weird. And like I said, video a couple weeks ago, I was coming home from a car event, and the car was shaking real bad. So I thought we had a hardware issue. I've checked the nut and bolts for the drive shaft, the trans, torque converter. Nothing. It's nothing real noticeable. The only thing I haven't done is drop the exhaust to see if the carrier bearing is bad. But I've talked to a few people and guys that have had carrier bearing issues, specifically on the G8s and the SS. They've said Charlotte Cars and Coffee. Yeah, if they ever, if this global issue. Let's look that way. Thanks, David. But yeah, Cars and Coffee. Whenever this quarantine ends and North Carolina opens back up, I'll try to get out there. But right now, we're all stuck at home, and trying to offer you guys entertainment by going live. So, but like we're saying with the SS, it's running rough, it's idling rough, and it's not a hardware issue. And it's not the torque converter. I took the bolts out for the starter, took that out, checked the torque converter. It's fine. So I have no idea what it is. But all right, let's put you guys back down. All right. So, but oh yeah, and the Corvette's back here as well. Kind of did the thumbnail for that, but the Corvette's done. You guys have seen the dyno video. You guys saw the compilation video of just like a build in 10 minutes. It's got some decent views. That video took a long time because I was taking old footage, cutting it down to like 10, 15-second increments, and I probably had in that video alone, so it's a 10-minute video. I probably had almost 10 hours of editing in that video just because you're finding footage, copying it, cropping it, and going do all that stuff. So, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Other than that, do you guys have any questions? There are 6 of us now. That's pretty cool. I think I did see some chats. Carter's a Carfy. Yeah, thank you, Parmendarius. I know I'm not saying that right. Apologize on that. But yeah, as a hobby, which YouTube is for me, it does take up a lot of time. So, but thankfully, with us being quarantined at home, it kind of gives you something to do. But other than that, we're good here. Everyone's healthy. Do have some friends whose parents are sick. They caught the virus and oh, all right, cool, thank you. But I've got some friends that their parents got the virus, and they're all in quarantine up in New York. So hopefully this global issue kind of gets better over time. I know they're trying to flatten the curve, have everyone stay home, but I just hope that we can get back to normal, if that's a good saying. So, but yeah, what else we got going on? SS content. Yeah, we were just talking about that. So the SS is running sort of. Like I said, it's idling funny. I checked the check engine light. There's no fault codes. There's no engine misfire or anything like that. I've checked. What have we checked? We've checked mass airflow sensor. Yeah, Angelo. I try to. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those YouTube channels that has infinite budget and they replace cars every 6 weeks. These are my cars. I've bought them, and yeah, David, I have seen some people cruising around. What do we say about that? I want to tell people to stay home, but obviously that's, I have no authority of telling someone, anything else, what some other person to do something. If it were me, I'm going to stay home. I'm only going to go out if I have to, food, car parts maybe, but that's about it. But yeah, I've seen people driving through South Carolina, North Carolina. The only spot that's kind of local to here would be Tail of the Dragon. That on the North Carolina side is closed. That on the North Carolina side, it's called Graham County. You cannot get to the Tail of the Dragon from North Carolina. You have to go outside of Graham County, kind of through Asheville, up 40, and go west to Gatlinburg, and then it's back south to the Dragon. There's no direct route to the Dragon from North Carolina. And also the Charlotte Skyway, I think I said that right, which is actually a better driving road than the Dragon. That road is closed as well. They put up barricades on that road as well, coming up on the North Carolina border. So, but yeah, so no Dragon runs anytime soon. But yeah, what were we saying? Oh, platform. Yeah, so Angelo, like I was saying, I've had the Corvette for 13 years, and I've had the SS for 6 years, and the truck. I've had the truck before the SS. I guess I've had the truck for 7 years, but I haven't really had any problems with any specific one. We just run into weird issues with each chassis. The Corvette in particular, which took over a year to figure out, that was the fuel system. I had who was the manufacturer? East Coast Superchargers had a bare bones auxiliary fuel pump kit. I had a copy of that and it didn't work. I eventually had to replace that with an A&A. The SS up until this point has been running great. That is being a stock LSA swap, headers, an intake. It's been running great. And then up until the last month or so, it's been had a dead battery, tire pressure sensors went dead, and now we've got this idling stumble, which who the heck knows what it's been. Wax salt. Yeah, that's the group of people that I know that went out. But yeah, let's show you the SS. We haven't been. Sorry, guys. We're gonna flip camera here. Yeah, we haven't shown this car in a while, but you know, LSA supercharger, Cook's long tube headers, which are down in there, and all my flashlights are dead. That's typical. But anyway, LSA blower, intake, headers, LSA setup. So this car is an LS3. Does not come with the LSA. In Australia, it came with a really good one. The HSV cars came with an LSA. So I just bought all the accessory drive off a ZL1 or a CTSV, kind of depending on what part came from what. And everything just bolted on to the front of the LSA on the G8. I'm sorry, the SS. So yeah, so you know, we try to keep this thing clean and running, but we've just had issues with it. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what's next for the channel. There are updates on the SS, and it was only gonna be 1 or 2 videos, but now it's turning into like maybe 3 or 4. So, but not a bad thing to have more content when you can't go do anything. You know, we don't do a lot of traveling on this channel. I mean, I'll go buy stuff like a road trip and stuff like that, but car shows and stuff, you know, I go to them. I don't really like prepare for them. I don't go clean the car significantly or do anything like that. We cover it, but you know, it's not my main purpose of the channel. So, but yeah, so that's the shop. The Lexus died a couple times. Battery. I don't know. Well, my better half was driving to work every day, and then with this whole quarantine, state of North Carolina shut down approximately 2 weeks ago. Any new shop updates? Yes. That right there. That'll be next week's video. What else is new? Oh, back over here, you guys will see I've gotten all the welders shoved against the wall. This stuff was kind of sitting out middle of nowhere, and so that's kind of new. So we got the welders all set up. Now I just saw a couple chats. Yeah, Parmadaries, I agree with that. The cars need to be driven. It comes down to getting up on a Saturday. I know that sounds real bad, but you know, I work nights and weekends a lot. And so getting up early on a Saturday at like 6 o'clock in the morning to go to sit in the car lot for 2 hours at Cars and Coffee, not going to happen. That sounds horrible, but you know, stuff like that. Plus, I live about an hour away from Cars and Coffee in Charlotte, so that's about a 45-minute drive. But oh, fuel system. The SS is stock fuel system. Who asked that? I apologize. Angelo. Okay. Angelo, stock fuel system on the SS. That is one of the reasons why I have not touched this car, because I have bigger injectors. I got 60 pound per hour injectors in it. But other than that, it's a stock fuel system. I do have a ZL1 fuel rail on it, and I believe it's the Camaro ZL1. Yeah, no problem, Palamandras. So stock ZL1 fuel rail, and I think it's the stock ZL1 soft line between the fuel rail and the firewall. The Camaro runs the fuel lines a little bit differently than the SS. So for the back, that fuel line on the hard line coming out of the SS, you have to bend it ever so slightly from the driver's side to point it more toward the center of the car. Then the stock ZL1 kind of soft line, that rubber hose, will plug in from back of the ZL1 rail to the firewall hard line. So, but yeah, so fuel system on the SS. I was going to further explain that. So sorry guys, let me put you back down. All right, so fuel system on the SS. This is one of those reasons why I have not actually modified the car any more than we have. With the 60 pound injectors per hour, it has a ZL1 fuel pump in it. The problem you run into is if you go crazy with the amount of boost, or like smaller pulley, headers, whatever. Uh, the stock fuel system can hold maybe up to 600 wheel. That is kind of on the high side, but we're at 560 the tire right now with just stock LS3 cam, stock LSA pulley, headers, and a fabricated AK Spectre intake that we put together. Um, so we're kind of on that ragged edge of fuel. And as we've learned with the Corvette over here, I basically bought two fuel systems for that car. One was a DIY, which I would not recommend. The second was I bought a specific kit. That fuel system was $1,200. So yes, it solved my problem of fuel pressure up on the Corvette, but I really don't want to buy a $2,000 fuel system for the SS. So it's kind of like, okay, sure, I can go buy a smaller pulley for $200, $180, whatever it costs, and gain another 50 crank or 50. Well, is it crank? No, I think it'd be like 40 to 50 wheel horsepower, but then you have to buy a $1,000 to $1,200 fuel system for the car. I'm just like, eh. And well, like I was saying, up until last couple weeks, the car was fine. I had no issue driving that car to California. I'd taken the car on a power tour twice, long hauled it, no issue. I've driven to Chicago and back. Where else have we gone? Illinois, Florida and back. So we've done some decent trips in that car. It doesn't get great gas mileage on the highway, but that car was fine up until this idling issue, which we need to figure out. That's kind of the next bigger project on the channel, is to figure that out. So, but so that's SS updates, Corvette stuff. We actually have a lot of stuff coming for the Corvette. The problem I'm running into now is shipping. I don't buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, but Prime is no longer Prime. Prime is kind of, they'll ship it to you when they can. So I ordered a set of LS3 exhaust manifold gaskets. Prime said May 3rd. It's what, April 11th? Like 3 weeks for a set of gaskets. So I spent $2 more. I bought them on eBay, and I'll have them by Tuesday or Wednesday. So shipping's been real bad. I've ordered parts from GM. I haven't even gotten any update on that. Parts for the SS and Corvette. A sensor I just replaced, which, David, you know about this. That sensor I replaced didn't do anything. It ran slightly better for about 2 seconds. Angela, I used to live near Chicago. I was out in Algonquin area, which was Boone. No, what county was that? McHenry County, just north of the Kane County line. So kind of between Elgin and Crystal Lake, if you know where that is, up in the northwest suburbs. So I know that area very well, and I don't miss the winters in Chicago, but I miss the drag strip opportunities that you had in Illinois. You had Cordova, Joliet, Great Lakes, and Byron. I used to drag race at Byron a lot. Like, I have hundreds of slips from Byron. So, wiring to the sensor. David, I pulled the wiring apart. It looked fine. The pins are all there. There's no corrosion. There's no mouse or anything eating it. The wires look fine. So, and the wiring hasn't changed since we tuned the car. So it's not like I magically rearranged the pins so that now it won't run right. It hasn't been touched in 3 years. Was it 4? I don't remember. This car is pretty much what launched the channel. I mean, I've had a channel for a real long time, but that car is what really kind of started me vlogging. When we did that LSA install, and I believe that was 3 years ago. Because I just saw the timeline update on Facebook on your memories, and so we had. I guess that was 3 years ago. Wow. Yeah, so 3 years and thousands of miles on the LSA swap, but in the last year hasn't been thousands of miles. So, but all right. Oh, I will say this. Someone actually suggested it could be a rocker arm that has potentially broken valve spring. I kind of dismissed that. I'm like, I wasn't hearing any weird horrific like metal on metal noise, that you'd expect to hear with a a valve spring breaking or the rocker arm. The LS3 rocker arms have a bad design, and unless you do the trunnion upgrade, uh, the rocker can basically like split in half. That sounds wrong. I don't have a rocker arm. No, I don't. Basically, you got your rocker arm with the little circle thing, and that circle thing, which has the where the push rod comes in. No, push rod comes out here. Wait. No, I was right. The push rod comes in. Basically, that breaks apart, and needle bearings can go everywhere. I was actually hearing a ticking on the passenger side. I looked into it. I haven't taken the valve cover off yet, but so there was a suggestion it could be a broken valve spring or a rocker arm issue, which totally could happen. I've seen guys basically saying stock LS3 Corvettes, not Corvettes, but particularly the Holdens, having valve train issues with the rocker arm. So I think we're gonna check on that next. But I did want to say I've made this suggestion in the past. If you guys have any kind of exhaust on a Corvette SS, whatever, use the stock gaskets. Well, I put those Cook's headers in 3 years ago, and the Corvette had a huge exhaust leak. I didn't realize it until I took the headers off. Carbon everywhere. This car, the SS, which has the Cook's long tube headers with the Cook's gasket on it, we're having a like arching rocker upgrade. There's really no point to upgrade an LS rocker. You can do the trunnion upgrade, which is a few $100, but unless you've got a massive cam in it, you're just not going to see that much power on an LS3 with rocker arms. Yes, I think Summit Racing and Engine Power did a combination where they picked up like 10 wheel horsepower, but I'm not buying rocker arms for $1,000. That's just stupid. So, but like I was saying, exhaust gasket, the passenger side's leaking. You can see carbon, like soot, like streak marks coming down and away from the gasket. So we've got to work on that. Yeah, it is, especially today. With a lot of people being unemployed because of the quarantine and everything shutting down. I mean, I'm listed as an essential worker, so I'm not. I'm doing okay. I'm actually working a lot more now than I have in the last 3 or 4 months, but it's just a bad time to be spending money. And when I mean money, I mean like something more than $50, like $1,000. That's a lot of money. So, but anyway, yeah, I don't want to get into finances and stuff, but yeah, so I'm not gonna do rockers. But yeah, so if we end up having a rocker arm issue, we'll do the trunnion upgrade. I think Texas Speed had it set for $200. Maybe it's BTR. You got to be careful with the rocker arm upgrades because one of them is made out of bronze. Okay. Are you having that car tuned, Angelo, or? Sorry, guys. Cook's long tubes and H-pipe. That car is going to sound mean. And if you ever put a blower on the car, holy crap, does it get louder. Forged assembly. I do have my eyes on a Blueprint Engine 427 head-to-header gasket. Angelo, I recommend a stock GM gasket. If your gaskets are in good shape, just reuse them. Like hundreds of people reuse them. Sloppy Mechanics basically says reuse gaskets. For exhaust, just go ahead and reuse them. And if not, they're $11 new, maybe $12 new. Just go ahead and buy a new GM gasket. Don't use so you're doing Cook's. Don't use the hardware and don't use the Cook's gasket. Just because I've had issues with the bolt company. Cook's did some stupid deal with a bolt company. I've forgotten the name of it. Every single one of their... Oh, you have an E-Force? Okay, cool. Yeah, E-Force. Ooh, that car's gonna be rowdy. What kind of mufflers are you gonna use? Let's go back to the chat. Stan, I just have on the Corvette. It's a stock, not stock, CNC ported from GM LS3 heads. LS3 GM Performance LS3 heads. I've had them for 10 years. Is that right? Yeah, I've had those heads on the car for, no, not 10 years. Actually, I think I have had those heads for 10 years. I sat on them for a few years while I still had a warranty. And I put them on the car when we did the LS9 cam. But yeah, so ported LS3 heads, can't go wrong with that. How long have I had the Corvette? I've had my Corvette since 2007. So it's 2020. I've had it for 13 years. I bought it with, boil attack. Your car is going to be super loud. So, wait, Angelo, who had the Corvette? I apologize, guys. Angelo has the E-Force. Okay. Yeah, Angelo, you'll be, your car's going to be loud. Just be prepared for that because the cooks. 13 years. I've only got 50,000 miles on the car. And a vast majority of that, let me switch the camera real quick. See the Power Tour license plates? Almost all those miles are from the Power Tour. I did it for 8, 9 years, something like that. And yeah, so Stan, I just have a stock, well, not stock, but LS9 cam. It's basically designed for the ZR1 with 2300 blower on it. If I were to upgrade it now with a new motor, I'm trying to think, what would I go with? BTR is always a good choice. A lot of G8 guys and SS guys give them crap because they're not fast. I don't have anything in that argument. People just don't like the BTR. But I mean, they seem to do well. Texas Speed sells a lot of cams. Hell, even my tuner, PCM, who tuned both cars, they've got their own cam lineup. So I would either go with something, custom like through my tuner, or buy kind of just probably a stage 3 boost grind, if that's what you want to call it. So, but let's see. Parman Darius, yeah, so 50,000 miles, I said that. Okay. Angelo, yeah, we've talked about that. The hooks, the gasket. Angelo, have you dynoed it yet? Like, what's it making for power? Sorry, guys, I'm going through the menu. Kind of wish they told you who was on the chat. Just list all the it just lists 2 types. Thanks, Stan. Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of hard place to start. The Corvette in its current drivetrain, I basically saw RPM, Race Proven Motorsports, out in Delaware. They had a SS, and they've done this in a couple cars, where they either modified the inlet on a stock blower, whether it's LSA or Magnuson or something like that. They took the stock opening, hogged it out a little bit, put a bigger throttle body, and put a bigger intake on it, and they gained 60 wheel horsepower, give or take. In my car, I gained 60 wheel horsepower. Now, I also have a smaller pulley in there too. So figure 20 from the pulley, because that's about what the pulleys do with the E-Force. And, you gain about 20 wheel with each pulley size you go down. So figure 20 from the pulley and like 40-ish from the intake, the throttle. Well, throttle body is not modified. Stock throttle body and the inlet being ported out a little bit. Yeah, we picked up like another 40 wheels, so that's not bad. Um, some of you guys have asked about that 102. It's actually in a box behind the SS, so I can't get it easily, but the 102 doesn't work. I bought a cheap one off eBay for like $125, whatever it was. And I've tried to dyno with that car 3 times. Actually, it was on the SS too. Tried to dyno it 3 different times. The cheap throttle body was manufactured wrong. And I bought the boosted version. It wasn't just the cheap, like, Chinese copy version. So I bought and it's shipped from China, so it's straight up Chinese. But yeah, so I tested it out. 4 different tunes yeah, no, 3 different attempts at tuning it. First of all, it was wired wrong, so I had to get an adapter harness. That was one tune session failed. The second was on the SS. They couldn't tune on that car. I didn't know about the harness being wrong. And the third final trick was I'm at 14 pounds on the Corvette. So kind of a lot for the stock bottom end, but I've seen guys with centrifugal blowers pushing more. So if the motor decides to spit out a rod, it's kind of like, oh well, it's lived a real long life and has had a lot of dyno pulls, track outings on it, and just fooling around on the street too. So, but back to the 102. Yeah, so finally the third time. Oh, okay. Have you gotten any of your 2650 parts yet, Stan? Drink some more water. All right, so we finished the 102. Yeah, basically the 102 doesn't work. I've seen CTSV guys have good luck with them, but we're 0 for 3. And third strike, we're out, so now it's just a paperweight. Waiting on ordering the lid. Yeah, I did see Greg Kong had a Facebook, or was it Instagram, social media post about the lids being shipping finally, and that thing looks pretty sick. And you don't have to, for a Corvette application, you don't have to modify it. It just fits under the stock hood. And I had to do all kinds of stupid stuff to this car. Subframe spacers, lowering engine mounts. What else did I have to do? Just, yeah, that Camaro lid, it fits, but I forgot I did the Camaro lid. So that 60 wheel horsepower, I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. Ported blower, aka Dremel the front snout of the blower, smaller pulley, bigger Camaro lid, and the bigger intake, and it was 60 wheel horsepower. The 2650 would be a sick blower. The cost is out there. Specifically for my E-Force, I traded parts for it. Like I sold a set of brakes and I think LS7 manifold. I sold something stupid and ended up getting like 2 or 3 grand for all the parts. And I bought that blower kit used on eBay for $3,000. So I basically am not out any money out of pocket on that. And then of the kit, the only thing I have left still on the car really are the hoses and the blower. The blower lower part itself. Everything else I've replaced. The pump sucks on it. The heat exchanger sucks on it. The coolant tank sucks. Yeah, when I say it sucks, it could be improved upon. And so I used basically all the parts that the ZR1 guys use. With a heat exchanger tank, bigger heat exchanger, the coolant tank under the hood, icebox if you want to call it that, and I upgraded to an EMP water pump. So if I decided to get a 2650, it would basically fit. Need to build a 427. Yeah, I'm right out there with you. Like I'm seeing guys with, all the guys buying the 2650s. I have not seen anyone put it on a stock bottom end because I think Greg doesn't offer a pulley big enough to slow it down, if that makes sense. Because whether you're on an LSA or a Corvette application, uh, I'm not sure where the pulley sits. I'm not sure if it's big enough to clear the throttle body, water pump, bracket, whatever's in the way. I'm not sure they make a pulley big enough to slow that thing down. So, I mean, hey, if you want to bolt it down to your LS6, is that what you said you had? Yeah, bolt on your LS6 and send it. The only thing I'd be worried about is destroying the blower when something goes on the motor. So, but yeah, so what were we talking about? Oh, sorry guys. I know someone said something about a dyno. Angelo. Hey Angelo, who are you having tune your car if you're still on here? I'm a little curious about that. Because I know in the Chicago area there's Speed Inc. There's Mike Norris Motorsports. He's out more toward Indy. Can't think of the Chicago tuners. I haven't lived there in so long that if I knew anyone, either they're out of the game or they've shut down. So, because back when I lived in Illinois, that was 2007 is when I moved. That was 13 years ago. So, yeah, it's been a little while. But, yeah, Angela, let me know what your car dyno's at. I'm curious to see what pulley and horsepower that thing makes, because if it's a manual, I think my car with heads and the LS9 cam, it put down 580. Yeah, so E-Force blower, GM ported heads for the LS3 heads, cruising performance in Mantina. Okay, haven't heard of that company, but that's not a bigger deal. There's literally shops everywhere. So, but yeah, I believe it was 580 with Cooks on tube headers, stock E-Force blower, the CNC ported heads, LS9 cam. I mean, that's all the important stuff you really need to know. I could not tell you what pulley size that was on, because man, I'm on my 4th auto. Okay, so do you have a 2005? Is that right? So either the 4L60, is it a 4L60? 4L65? Whatever transmissions in those 05 Corvettes or the 6L80, that'll eat up some horsepower. Sorry guys, I'm drinking a lot of water here. But yeah, so I think it was about 580. I have a manual trans, and maybe it was a 3.25 inch pulley. Yeah, I think I started with the 3.5. No, 3.25. I went to the 3, and now I'm on the 2.75 inch pulley. But Stan, if you're still on, the interesting thing, Auto 07. So you have a LS2 6L80. Okay. What pulley do you have on it? Is it the big, like 3.8? If it's a 3.8, yeah, if it's a 3.8, do you know what pulley's on a supercharger? Is it the stock one that came with the? Let's go see that. I've got a whole bunch of these pulleys, so. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to. All right. There's 2. That's an idler. Okay. So, if you have an E-Force, these are all the pulleys that come with it. Actually, don't come with it, that you have to buy. So I believe stock, if you buy the kit from Edelbrock, it's 3.875. I believe that's stock. Next one down is 3.5. So we have that one. This one isn't marked, but I'm pretty sure that's a 3. So that's 3.5. This is a 3.25. Sorry, guys. So yeah, there's my pile of E-force pulleys. And Angelo, these pulleys are only like 30 bucks a piece. So over time, you're not gonna end up spending that much money on these pulleys. So like I've literally gone through each one. I think my car had the 3.5 on it. And then every time I've dynoed it, I've basically gone down a smaller pulley. So there's a stack of pulleys. But all right. Okay, so Stan, I was gonna. Sorry. Trying to shove my not so small ass through that little corner. So, Stan, like I was saying, the Kong is actually manufactured by Edelbrock. So you kind of have an E-force on your car. Or on your Camaro, sorry. So yeah, the E-force is manufactured. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The Kong 2650 is manufactured by Edelbrock. That's why their casting kind of looks like an E-force. And then the pulley is actually an E-force pulley. It's the standard 4-prong. Damn, I should have grabbed one of those pulleys. But basically, the pulley on your 2650 is the standard Edelbrock and Magnuson 4-bolt kit. It's not the LSA or LS9, which has like, it might be a 10-bolt. What I'm talking about is the amount of bolt holes attaching the blower pulley to the hub that it sits on. So, so that kind of limits you on pulleys. I think you could pull, because it's basically a stock LS9 LSA application on the supercharger itself. C4 bearing. Okay. So, like I was saying, like we were talking about, you might be able to swap that out for a different manufacturer. I know, oh man, GripTech, the company that manufactures the GripTech technologies. I'm forgetting the name of it. They've got a website. But all they do are pulleys, and they've got Magnuson, they've got E-force, they've got does it do 2650? But anyway, if you just Google GripTech 3.25, and you might be at like 18 pounds of boost on that. Yeah, well, that'll be fun. But anyway, like I was saying, Angela, this might be applicable to you. If you find a pulley size that you want to go with, GripTech actually will sell you that pulley in a GripTech style. So like it's a 6-rib. It's the standard Magnuson, Eaton, is it Eaton? Sorry, Magnuson, Edelbrock 4-bolt pattern on the pulley itself. They'll sell you a custom pulley, and they're 140, 150 price range. Depends if you have belt slip or not. I have had belt slip on the Corvette with the E-force. So if you want to get crazy, you can take, whatever pulley size you decide to go with. Say you go with a 3-inch, and that's what you're going to stay with. Maybe upgrade to the 6-rib GripTech pulley from, I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the company. If you're interested, send me a PM on Instagram and I'll find it for you. But if you want to get crazy, you could do that. I was actually looking at upgrading my E-force. Sorry, the E-force is that way. E-force to an 8-rib system. Right now, I'm using the stock 6-rib setup, but I've got enough of. I've had to replace several of the pulleys with ATI units, and so I've actually got is an 8 or 10-rib. I think it's actually a 10-rib idler pulley. I've already replaced 2 of them, and you go with ATI. There are basically 2 companies that will sell you an 8-rib conversion for a Corvette. ATI and Innovators West. ATI's kit is $1,100, but I caution that on the E-force application just because, I don't think you're gonna have that much belt slip. So, like I was saying, ATI conversion, Innovators West, only if you run into belt slip. I had the 3-inch pulley on there with the upgraded E-Force. Angela, let's show you that actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, guys, we're kind of going off topic and being specific here. So let's go to this side. Yeah, Angelo. My E-Force is so old, it actually had the old tensioner. Edelbrock replaced this tensioner with an upgraded tensioner sometime, maybe like 2011. So I actually had, when I bought my kit, it had the old tensioner on it. It actually replaced the bracket. There's a cast aluminum bracket. So I replaced that bracket. I replaced the tensioner, and I went with the upgraded, the newer Edelbrock part. And then over here, this is that 10 rib idler pulley I was telling you about. Sorry, the light sucks, but yeah, so that's a 100 millimeter AT idler pulley. And if you look through my playlist, I actually have I think I did a video about that. Yeah, so I've had to replace 2 of those bearings, and they're about, was it $80 from ATI? Yeah, I think those idler pulleys are about $80. Let's push you guys back on the ground. All right, so yeah, so specifically for the Corvette, yeah, they have decent belt wrap. Is the guy Angelo? Google Real Canuck CorvetteForum.com. Type it in, like real, REAL space Canuck, CANUCK Corvette Forum. And he had an E-Force. He God, I think he was up to 740 wheel before he blew the thing up, or he went to a centrifugal supercharger, something like that. Yeah, so he had an E-Force. So a lot of his mods that he did, like, 10 years ago, maybe not 10 years ago, but a real long time ago, I pretty much did to this car. And the way my car's set up now, if I ever decide to go with a 2650, I've got the upgraded pump, heat exchanger, ice tank. The only thing I'd really have to worry about is the accessory drive, and you can put an LS9 supercharger on a standard C6 offset belt drive system. There's just a trick behind it, but we'll leave that one off the table. If you guys really want to know more about that, send me a PM and I can help provide you information on that. So 2650 will fit, but it's not going to be cheap. We'll just say it like that. I mean, hell, the 2650 need that EMP pump. Yeah, I got mine used for like, I think they're 500-ish. I got mine used for 300 shipped, and it was from a buddy of mine. So that's how I ended up with EMP. But yeah, so I mean, if you guys upgrade all that, you guys shouldn't have any issues with these centrifugal blowers. Stan, your application is a little different. It's a 68 Camaro. Could be wrong about the year, but I know you've got a Camaro with. I unfortunately don't know the belt drive system you have on it. If it's Corvette, this is all applicable. If it's not, if it's not F body, but if it's L99 Camaro or the 5th gen, it won't work. It's a little different. But anyway, so sorry guys, we've kind of been all over the place talking about blowers, SS's, Holdens. Where did you get your 102.5 blower belt? Amazon. The blower belt is actually, you're gonna laugh, a heavy duty diesel belt. It's not a supercharger per se. It's just a heavy duty 102. I think mine's 101. I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's 101.5. I've got a bigger idler pulley up top. It's 100 millimeter, and that changes everything. So basically, Angela, like I was saying about the Real Connect guy, he had belt slip issues. He upgraded the tensioner, like I already showed you. He then did that 100 millimeter idler pulley up top, the one right next to the passenger side cylinder head. He upgraded that, and then I think the belt length was 101.5. I don't. That sounds like a rock station. I don't. Something like that. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I can send you a direct link to the belt that I bought. But yeah, basically that just ended up being a heavy duty diesel belt from Gates, I believe. I don't know. All the belt manufacturers are basically one company. Or it's Continental, Gates. There's like a third one, but they're all kind of the same manufacturer there. But all right, what else going on? Wow, we've almost been out here for 51 minutes. Crazy. But hey, I guess if it helps you guys with information, um, that's fine. So what else we got? Let's go back to the chat real quick. All right. Stan, I think we talked about it. Angelo, we've talked a lot. Is there anyone else in the chat that has any more questions? I think because we've almost gone an hour, and that's kind of crazy. Where are we at? So wow, we've only used 20% of my battery for almost an hour of being live. Well, that's kind of cool. Anyway, all right. Well, we've been out here for a while. Angelo, like I said, if you have Instagram, send me a message. It's the same. All my social media is the same as BonecrrusherSS. It's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, which I'm not gonna lie, I may not see, and Blogger. Okay, yeah, Angela. Like I was saying, if you need any more specific information, reach out to me on any of the platforms. Hell, even email me. It's BonecrrusherSS at Gmail. Whatever works for you, and I can try to send you some of the links. Like I said, I don't really remember the belt size length. I think it was. I don't think it was 102. I think it was 100. Like 101 is sticking in my mind. But like I was saying, it's just a diesel belt. Basically, it's a heavy duty, and it produced 14 pounds of boost on the dyno without any belt slip. So I did replace the water pump, and my old water pump was just caked in old belt dust. So, and I had just a standard kind of Continental belt on there, and that's kind of killed it. So, but we never had any issues with belt flying off. We never had any belt loosening issues like that. It always stayed tight. It's just that, oh, I meant to tell you. Okay, so with your E-Force supercharger, this is going to be kind of sound stupid, but the pulley that bolts, there's a pulley that bolts to the bracket. That bracket bolts to the water pump on the E-Force. That pulley locked up on my car. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but let's switch the camera again. All right. So you see how my belt is kind of brownish colored? This happened within 20 miles of putting it on the car. And basically what happened was that pulley, I'm actually going to show you. I'm not sure. You won't be able to see it. But basically the pulley that is, I'm going to try to sneak over here. The pulley that's down here, if you see that bracket right there that I'm pointing to, it's the pulley that's standing closest to the radiator. That pulley locked up. So when that pulley locked up, my brand new belt on there got all discolored. I'm like, what the hell? Like that belt had 15 minutes of idling on it and it stained it brown. Now green belts do turn brown over time, but not instantly, not within 15, 20 minutes of idling, test firing stuff. And yeah, so long story short, as I digress, I replaced that idler pulley with, I think it's 73 millimeter, but it's a 10 rib. So if you ever decide to turn your car up and you need more belt rib, you can fit a 10 rib pulley on that idler pulley and it won't hit anything. Like I have had no issues. Air conditioner works, all that stuff, because that pulley is really close to the air conditioner belt, but everything still works. So that's kind of the other upgrade that we did with all the pulley issues that we had. So I think that's about it. We've been on here for almost an hour and I'm starting to get hoarse. So I think I'm going to cut this short. So Angelo, like I said, if you have any questions, email, or whatever. Email, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Just go ahead and it's BonecrrusherSS at all of those. So, and we'll figure it out. But all right, guys, we've been on here for almost an hour. We've talked into way nerdy stuff about the Corvette, the SS behind me, which is slowly being worked on, and we'll go from there. But thanks, guys, for joining, and have a great one.